Hey everyone, and welcome back to Trending Echo for another deep dive.
We're so glad to have you all here.
And for those of you joining us for the first time,
welcome.
be sure to hit that like and subscribe buttons
so you don't miss out on any future explorations.
Today, we're going to be tackling a number that's both deceptively simple
and surprisingly profound.
The number 3.
It really is a number that pops up everywhere.
You know, I was doing a bit of reading beforehand, and I was amazed by just how much there is to say about the number 3.
It's everywhere.
It's not just about counting to 3.
Right.
It's woven into the fabric of our universe and our culture.
Absolutely. Like, did you know that 3 is the smallest odd prime number? And here's something that really blew my mind.
Okay.
It's the only prime number that comes right before a square number.
Wait, really?
Yeah, think about it. 2 squared is 4.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pattern that you won't find with any other prime.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like this hidden mathematical quirk.
It is.
And it's not just math.
Mm-hmm.
The number 3 pops up in science, religion, history. You name it.
Absolutely. And even the story of how we write the number 3.
Oh, yeah.
The Arabic numeral is a journey in itself.
So where do we even begin with all this 3-ness?
Oh,
Let's start with the math.
okay.
I remember learning this divisibility rule for 3 in school that seemed like pure magic back then.
Oh, yeah.
You add up all the digits in a number, and if that sum is divisible by 3, then the original number is 2.
That's right. And what's even more mind-blowing is that that rule works no matter what number system you're using.
Oh, really?
Yeah, binary, hexadecimal, you name it.
But why does it work, though?
Well, it all comes down to the way that we represent numbers.
Yeah.
Our system is based on powers of 10.
Right. Hundreds.
Tens units. Exactly. And when you divide any power of 10 by 3, you always get a remainder of 1. So by adding up the digits, you're essentially checking if the total remainder when dividing by 3 is also a multiple of 3.
Okay, can you give me an example?
Sure, let's take the number 123. That's 102 tens and 3 units.
Okay.
Each of those place value, when divided by 3, leaves a remainder of 1.
Okay.
Adding those remainders together gives you 3, which is, of course, divisible by 3.
Right.
Therefore, 193 is also divisible by 3.
Oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
Okay, so the divisibility rule is pretty cool.
It is.
But I can't help but notice that 3 also plays a big role in geometry.
Yes.
The simplest polygon is a triangle with its 3 sides.
And that simplicity is what makes the triangle so powerful. It's incredibly stable, which is why you see it everywhere in engineering and design bridges, skyscrapers, even the Eiffel Tower. They all rely on the strength of triangles.
So just by being the most basic shape, the triangle becomes this fundamental building block.
Exactly. It's a great example of how mathematical concepts translate into real-world applications.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit now.
Okay.
And talk about science.
All right.
I was reading that the number 3 shows up all over the place, from the tiniest particles to the vastness of space.
It's true. Think about lithium, the element, with the atomic number 3.
Oh, right.
Or the 3 spatial dimensions that we experience.
Right.
And then there's the 3 generations of fermions.
Okay.
The fundamental particles that make up matter.
So it's almost like the number 3 is baked into the universe's blueprint.
It really is.
And it gets even weirder. Protons and neutrons. The particles inside atoms are each made up of 3 quarks.
That's right.
So it's like this rule of 3 keeps repeating itself at different scales.
It's a fascinating pattern, isn't it?
It is. It makes you wonder if there's some deeper meaning to it.
It really does.
Speaking of things that make you wonder, how about our eyes?
Our eyes.
We have 3 primary colors, and our vision relies on 3 types of cone cells in our retinas.
That's right.
It's like the number 3 is the key to how we perceive the world.
It is. Those cone cells are sensitive to red, green, and blue light.
Okay.
And their signals are combined by the brain to create the entire spectrum of colors that we see.
So thanks to the number 3, we can experience the vibrant beauty of a sunset or the subtle shades of a flower.
That's a good way to put it.
It's almost poetic.
It is. It's a testament to the power and elegance of this seemingly simple number.
Okay, now for a bit of a brain teaser.
All right.
I came across something called the 3-body problem in physics.
Okay.
And it sounds incredibly complex.
It is unlike the 2-body problem, where you can easily calculate the gravitational interaction between 2 objects.
Right.
The 3-body problem involves, well, 3 objects.
Yeah.
And their interactions become so intricate that there's no general solution to predict their movements perfectly over time.
So even with all of our scientific advancements, we still haven't cracked the code of the 3-body problem.
Not quite yet.
Yeah.
It remains one of the biggest challenges in physics, and it shows how even seemingly simple systems can become incredibly complex when you add just one more element.
It's a humbling reminder that there's still so much we don't know about the universe.
It really is.
But hey, that's what makes science so exciting. Speaking of exciting, let's move on to an area where 3 reigns supreme: religion and mythology.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. It really is remarkable how often the number 3 appears in spiritual and religious contexts.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
The Christian Trinity,
Yeah.
the Hindu Trimurti, the Buddhist 3 jewels,
Right.
the Wiccan triple goddess.
Exactly.
It's like every culture on Earth decided that 3 was the magic number for divine concepts.
And there are some theories as to why that might be.
Okay.
Some scholars believe it's connected to the idea of balance and completeness. Think about it. You have a beginning, a middle, and an end, past, present, and future.
Right.
These fundamental concepts are ingrained in our human experience.
So maybe it's not just a coincidence that 3 shows up so much in our spiritual beliefs. It could be tapping into something deeper about how we understand the world.
Exactly. It's fascinating how a simple number can hold so much symbolic weight.
Okay, before we get too philosophical, let's talk about something a bit more concrete. The history of how we write the number 3.
Okay.
I was reading that the Arabic numeral 3 we use today has a surprisingly long and winding history.
Oh, absolutely. And it all starts with something you might find very familiar. 3 simple vertical lines.
Like tally marks.
Exactly. Using 3 lines to represent 3 is incredibly intuitive, and it shows up in many ancient writing systems, from Roman numerals to early forms of Chinese characters.
But those vertical lines eventually transformed into the curvy 3 we know today, right? What happened?
Well, during the Gupta Empire in India, a curve was added to each of those vertical lines.
Okay.
Then the Nagari script rotated them clockwise, making them horizontal, and added a little downward stroke at the end of each line.
So we went from straight up and down to curvy and sideways. That's quite a makeover.
It is. And over time, those 3 strokes in cursive writing started to connect, eventually merging into a shape resembling our modern 3 with an extra stroke at the bottom.
Okay, but how did this Indian numeral make its way to the rest of the world?
Well, it spread to the Caliphate in the 9th century. And here's where things get interesting. In the western parts of the Caliphate, that bottom stroke was dropped around the 10th century, giving rise to what we call Western Arabic numerals, which include our modern 3.
So that's why our 3 looks different from the 3 used in some other parts of the world.
Precisely. The Eastern Arabs kept that bottom stroke and even enlarged it, rotating the digit once more to create the modern Eastern Arabic numeral.
Wow, so 2 different forms of 3 developed from the same origin. It's a cool reminder of how ideas can evolve and adapt as they travel across cultures.
Absolutely. It highlights the interconnectedness of human knowledge and how even something as simple as a number can have a fascinating global journey.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into the number 3, I wanted to touch on some of the cultural and psychological aspects.
Okay.
Like the saying, third time's the charm.
Ah, yes. A classic example of our human tendency to find patterns and meaning even in random events.
That's like we want to believe there's some kind of order to the universe, even when it's just pure chance.
And that desire for order often leads to superstitions. Have you ever heard the one about bad luck coming in 3s?
Of course, I've definitely knocked on wood a few times after 2 bad things happened in a row.
Yeah.
But is there any truth to it?
Well, from a scientific perspective, no. Bad things don't actually happen in groups of 3 more often than any other number.
Well, I gotta say, this deep dive into the number 3 has been quite a journey. It's incredible how this seemingly simple number pops up everywhere you look, from the tiniest particles to the grandest cosmic scales.
And it's not just about its scientific and mathematical significance.
Right.
It's about the stories we tell, the beliefs we hold, and the ways we make sense of the world around us.
Before we close out our exploration, we want to give a huge shout out to all of you watching. We're so grateful for your support. Don't forget to hit that share button and spread the love of knowledge.
We truly appreciate you being here with us today.
And for all of you number nerds out there, stay tuned to Trending Echo for more deep dives into fascinating topics. We're always on the lookout for new ideas, so let us know in the comments what you'd like us to explore next.
Now, as we wrap up this journey into the realm of 3, we want to leave you with a final thought. Think about your own life, your beliefs, your experiences. Where does the number 3 hold significance for you?
Maybe it's a personal philosophy you live by, a favorite quote that resonates with you, or even a recurring pattern you've noticed in your own life.
Perhaps it's the 3 pillars of a strong relationship, the 3 things you value most, or the 3 steps you take to achieve a goal.
Whatever it may be, we encourage you to reflect on the role of 3 in your own unique story. Because sometimes the most profound discoveries are found not in the vastness of the universe, but in the depths of our own understanding.
And with that, we come to the end of our deep dive into the number 3. Thank you for joining us on Trending Echo. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that thirst for knowledge alive.
You know, it's amazing to think that something as simple as a number 3 can have such a profound impact on our understanding of the world.
And ourselves. It really speaks to the power of patterns and symbols in the human mind.
It does.
We're always searching for meaning, and sometimes those meanings are hidden in plain sight, like the number 3.
And you know what's even cooler is that even though we've explored so much about the number 3 today, there's still so much more to discover.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like we've only scratched the surface.
Yeah, that's the beauty of knowledge, isn't it?
It is.
The more you learn, the more you realize how much more there is to learn.
Exactly. It's like this never-ending journey of exploration. And we hope you'll continue that journey with us here at Trending Echo.
Yes, we would love for you to.
We're always digging into fascinating topics, and we love hearing your suggestions for future deep dives.
So be sure to leave a comment below and tell us what you'd like us to explore next.
Yeah. And if you enjoyed today's deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more mind-blowing content.
We're so grateful for your support.
We are, and we can't wait to dive into the next fascinating topic with you.
Until then,
Keep
exploring, keep questioning,
and keep that thirst for knowledge alive.
Yes.